And we are back.
We're back.
You know, I moved all these cameras, now it kind of blocks your face, so I have to see you.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm sorry.
I may have to change this setup again.
Yeah.
You know what would be kind of cool is if I got those C-stands that are in the closet in there and hung the camera down and put it in front of you so that it wasn't bouncing off of these tables, because, you know, we've got so much shit everywhere.
That'd be dope.
So we are extremely backlogged on emails now. I think we've got like 30-something emails sitting there.
Yes.
I have content written down from YouTube. I have content written down from Patreon. Comments left on YouTube from our Patreon subscribers. So I do want to make a Patreon exclusive video today at some point if we can. But I would like to address something that happened on YouTube today and then maybe do some emails. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So let's disclaimer. First and foremost, we're not licensed professionals. Everything that we talk about on this podcast is purely opinion. If you agree with it, dope. If you don't, that's cool too. If you would like to tell us why you don't agree with it in the comments, we're more than happy to listen, as it boosts the algorithm and we can have a discussion, which is kind of what happened on YouTube. So I somehow stopped getting notifications about our comments. Yeah. I don't know if I shut them off or if I was just trying to stop the emails, because I do tend to turn everything off. I don't like notifications. Right. I don't want to be bothered.
It honestly could have been me as well.
Yeah.
I could have accidentally shut them off.
So, excuse me, I am still getting over a cold, chest, sinus, mucusy thing, so I apologize for the coughing and the grossness, but we want to continue to bring you content, and in doing so, you get to listen to that grossness. So I'm going to turn over here so that I can read this. Somebody on the video that we made called Traditional Couple Reacts to Just Pearly Things. This is a clip that AJ edited and uploaded for us. And we talk about the table. What do you bring to the table? If you want a high-value man, what do you offer that high-value man? And we always refer to it as what do you bring to the table, because it's very well known on our side of things that, like, I say I built my own table. If you want to eat at it, you got to bring something to sit down. And it's obviously just a metaphor. This woman said, what is this table and what needs to be brought to it? If working and being able to take care of oneself, going into a relationship and trying to build a foundation, and to be piece of each other, what else needs to happen? Just genuinely curious and wanting some feedback, because I keep hearing that. But everything mentioned doesn't seem to be good enough. Seems like people want to throw it out there, well, what do you bring? But it's still less. Craig Stevens commented and said the table is a relationship and what one will do for the for and in the relationship. So this Craig Stevens guy like leaves comments on a lot of our shit, and dude is very intelligent. I enjoy reading his responses, because a lot of times I don't have to fucking say anything. He just did it all. Said the F word. Got to stop doing that. I really am trying to not do that. And every time I do it, I'm like, you know, I'm not stupid. I know that I'm not stupid. Why is this such a hard thing for me to break?
It's a habit.
It is purely habitual. And I know it's habitual. And I don't realize that I'm saying it most of the time until it's out of my mouth. And at that point, I can't take it back. I hate that. She said, okay, but again, like I stated, why is being able to take care of the basic adult things as working, paying bills, cooking, cleaning, considering lesser to bringing to the table?
That's not the conversation, though.
Right. So he said, to put it simple, it's not. If a person actually does bring those things, so many nowadays don't. They don't know how to cook or clean. They bring lots of debt, which really negates the fact that they work. And then in parentheses wrote, and I'm not talking a measly 10,000 of debt. I mean 100,000 plus with nothing to show for it. And they bring heaps of drama into the other's life. Kelly then wrote, just threw me when they said it's bringing less to the table. And a lot of guys are also stating that it's too less to bring to the table. If both parties are working and the woman is still doing the cooking and cleaning and trying to make the home life less stressful for the male, I don't see that as bringing less to the table. I understand debt. No one wants to take on someone else's debt, and no one wants drama. I guess I'm asking what else could be brought to the table. I'm going to pause at that because this continues. That what she stated is not what most people bring to the table. When we have these conversations about what do you bring to the table, most of those women want to be kept. They don't want to do the housework. They don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. They don't want to be a traditional wife. They don't want to be a mother.
They want somebody to take care of them.
Right. They're looking for a handout so that they can level up in life and not have to do anything for it. They're looking for a participation trophy. Excuse me. Craig then said, actually, debt is not a big one for most guys. Would prefer debt over drama any day. To put simply, if you are bringing those things along with actually listening and compromising, truly working together to build a life, we aren't actually asking for anything else. But so often these days, that that isn't happening. Therefore, it is regarded as less because being in that relationship doesn't help him, but instead it's a hindrance if being in a relationship creates more work, stress, drama, and costs without balancing it out in other areas. There's no point in being in a relationship. I might add that this is not just a woman issue. Men can be just as bad at times, especially if he isn't the breadwinner than he needs, capital needs, to balance out the fact that she is also working. I love this dude.
Yeah, that's it. That's the conversation. Did she reply?
No, he replied a second time.
Yeah.
And this was all 2 days ago. I saw it at 6 o'clock this morning because I haven't been getting notifications. And I was like, are we doing that bad on YouTube?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And AJ keeps telling me, hey man, our stats are doing great. We hit 7,000 hour watched. And like, he's telling me all these stats and I'm not getting notifications. I'm like, okay, something's not right. So I got up this morning. The first thing I did was walked out here and got on the computer. He then said, I have tried my best to word it. Hopefully it makes sense. If you are bringing those things to a relationship, don't worry. You would not be classed as bringing less. Instead, he should be at the very least be helping around the home, cooking, cleaning, etc. Fully agree.
Yeah.
I've said it over and over and over again. If you both work, you need to split the duties of the house. Even if that means you hire people to do the jobs. It shouldn't fall on one person to take care of everything in the house while one person does nothing. So I typed a novel. Do you want to say anything before I read the shit?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I wrote, Craig again makes valid points because I commented to him on a video before this one and then the one before that because I was checking comments and he's valid point, valid point, valid point. We ask what you bring to the table because we are already doing all these things. Paying our own bills, running our own businesses, living our lives, simply existing isn't enough for us anymore, which is what a lot of women believe is all it takes. They simply have to exist. We see it constantly in the reaction videos that we do. We see it on the Fresh and Fit, and all of the other stupid Tate videos and all that nonsense. You see it constantly.
Yeah.
If you have a good paying job, little debt, or even some debt like Craig said, but you have no drama, the debt doesn't really matter, have done a lot of work on yourself, you aren't bringing baggage from past relationships, you've learned how to communicate, you aren't trying to control or mooch off of us, then I say as a start, you bring a lot to the table. When we ask the question, what do you bring to the table? It's usually because we know that we can provide, protect, and lead. Not all men. Okay. And we are talking to all the women who simply want nothing more than a high value man. And then I wrote that made me throw up in my mouth because I hate that term. Because they think they deserve one. No one is owed shit in this life. If you want a dope ass life, you have to work for it. If you are grinding to find a man that does the same thing and the two of you balance each other in a positive way, that's the table that I would most likely want to eat at. Because I love the metaphors, right?
Right.
Simply being an adult isn't enough.
No, it's not.
It's not because you're surviving. You're not living if that's the case. For men and women, people want a pat on the back for existing. Participation trophy culture, screw that. If you want to win, you got to do the work. Men and women. That's not always money. Cooking, cleaning, and keeping a house means nothing if the home feels like a war zone. It means nothing having a home if you don't want to go to it. Because that is another key point that we catch from a lot of these videos.
Right.
And then I brought you into it.
Oh, okay.
When I said to Chris, I know what I have, who I am, and what I can provide, and we started having the conversation of what she could bring into my life, she didn't have to say much. She said, I have shown you, I have treated you as a wife, and even though I wasn't your wife, I have helped you build, I have helped you listen, or I have listened, I have stood by you in low points, and I have shown you the quality of my character, and the only thing I've asked you is to be the good man that I know you can be. It wasn't about the money or the ability to stay home. It wasn't about her trying to level up from me. She wanted to be my peace. And since day one, she has been. My table wouldn't be set. There would be no enjoyment in eating at it. And it wouldn't matter if I had one if she wasn't there doing what she does to make all of it enjoyable. Don't cry.
I'm going to cry.
I then said, most people just want to eat at the table. They don't want to help build it, clean it, set it, or help with the dishes afterwards. You really are going to cry. Don't run your makeup, babe.
I'm trying.
And then I wrote, sorry for all the metaphors. It's the only way that I can help describe the things. This question is always asked because a woman can tell you what she expects of us. 6 foot tall, 100,000 a year, all that nonsense, and can't tell you at all what makes them worthy of a man like that. Because most of the time they are more worried about what they can get than what they can give. And then I said, I've actually really enjoyed responding to this comment And I thanked her for it and said that I was going to talk about it on a podcast because this is video worthy. This is the shit that I live for. This woman had a legitimate question. She wasn't being nasty.
Right.
And people came out of the woodworks to answer her. Craig Stevens jumped in there. I saw it. I jumped in there, felt obligated to have a conversation with her. This is how we build. This is how we progress. This is how people can have these conversations and realize what's going on, because Fit and Fresh and Tate and all the nonsense that you see is gotcha moments back and forth at the table to try to make each other look bad. And that's not what we're doing. We don't want to make anyone look bad. We don't want to force anyone to live this life. We want people to be better.
I want people to realize that they actually have control in their lives.
Yes.
It's not just a bunch of chaos and why do these bad things keep happening to me? Really just take a step back and take control.
Right.
That's it.
It's funny that you said that because the next topic I have is that exact conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to actually change the narrative of our conversation or the tone of our conversation, because this is very pleasant.
Right.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah. Before we move on from that, I just wanted to add in, so she brought up, working, cleaning, cooking, everything at once, right? I can do all of that with a better attitude and I bring more to the table.
Right. Absolutely.
It's literally just the attitude. You can be the boss bitch making $100,000 a year, build your own business. But if you're a see you next Tuesday kind of person, you do not bring as much to the table as someone who has a good attitude working at Burger King.
Right. That's exactly it. Your quality of character. People want to be around pleasant people more than they want to be around dicks.
Right.
That's just the way that it is. And if you have a good personality and you have the job and you're able to do all the things that you're already doing as an adult, it adds so much value to you. I deal with my depression the way that I deal with my depression. And I've said it over and over and over again that in my darkness, you have been my light. You have brought positivity to my life. And there's no negativity in my home. There's no negativity in the car. There's no arguments. Like, we have a very clear understanding of the way things are going to go. And when we get hung up on shit, we just talk about it. We don't scream and yell. There's no fighting. There's no resentment. There's no animosity. There's none of that. We have a conversation and get right back on the same page and continue trying to have the best life that we can have instead of getting hung up on things that aren't really worth getting hung up on.
Right.
Having that self-awareness and the quality of character and living with integrity is what you bring to the table. And when you have somebody who already has money and already has businesses and is already doing the thing, he's not looking for a problem. He's looking for answers and assets and ways to level and to be able to come home and not have to deal with any of that shit and come home to a happy home. That's an asset.
Yeah.
Like, I got to be honest, the personality that you bring to the table would be enough that I would hire a maid to do everything in this house and still not have you go back to work, because I enjoy who you are enough that like my life is better because of it. So you bring a lot to the table in that aspect. I bring a lot to the table in terms of stress because I live like that. I have constant conflict in my head. There's always something going on. It's never just an easy day, but we make the best of it. And like you've gotten, I don't negative self-talk as much. I still do it about my body, which I don't think I'll ever stop doing, because I still see the 300-pound man in the mirror. I know that I'm not, but I still see that.
I get that.
And I am working on that as well. There are days that I will overeat and then take my shirt off before bed and be like, I'm really not that bad. Like I'm still doing the thing. Or I'll step on the scale and be like, yes, I'm still under 220, even though I had McDonald's and chicken nuggets today,
Right.
That shit goes a long way for me, but that's not something that I'd ever worked on my own before. I never had somebody be like, you need to rephrase that. Stop the negative self-talk. Like, I'd never had anybody trying to correct my
negative habits.
Right. My poor behavior, my poor perception of myself is what I was going for that. But there's a balance there. And so when we ask people, what do you bring to the table? We want to know what you have that's going to make you an asset to what we've already got. Because I can hire a maid. I can clean my house. I can cook. I can do all the things that a woman could do. And if I have money, having a second income doesn't mean shit to me. So there's nothing there in terms of the initial part of this email or message from her that adds value to my life.
Right.
If I have money and I don't need yours, and I already have a maid that can come and clean my house, because I did that before you moved in, had a maid. I always did my own laundry. I've been fat my entire life. I can cook. I've cooked for you. I can cook.
Yeah.
I can also DoorDash.
Yeah, you can.
So I don't need that. So in that aspect, what do you bring to the table? None of that matters. So it's quality of character. It's happiness. It's peace. It's, I'm going to help you build. When you are too tired to stand on your own, I'm going to let you lean on my shoulders. Like, that's what you bring to the table. Most of the women that are on those podcasts that we react to are not smart enough to realize that that's what we're getting at. Because it's not about what they can do for their man. It's purely about what the man can do for them. And that's the context of that video.
Right.
I really enjoyed that. Do you have anything that you can add to that while I look at my phone so the camera's not on me?
No, you can't put me on the spot like that.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, AJ's blowing my shit up. He doesn't know that we're recording.
No. Well, he'll know now.
Yeah, he will, because I just told him. I needed my phone anyways. So, for everyone who follows us and has been here for more than a day, you know that we take extreme accountability over here.
We do.
There's not going to be a time where one of us messes up and doesn't go, okay, how can I have done something different to make this better?
Yeah.
You can call it a lack of victim mentality. You can call it optimism. You can call it whatever you want. We have extreme accountability. Every time something goes wrong, how can I do something different next time to have a better outcome? Doesn't matter what it is.
I'm teaching the kids that now too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Our daughter came to me this morning. Well, not this morning, it was last night. And she was like, when we were at Daddy's house, I fell off the bed and I hit my head. I was like, okay, well, how did that happen? And she was like, well, my brother pushed me. I was like, did he push you or were you guys jumping on the bed? And she's like, well, we were jumping on the bed. I was like, okay, so if you weren't jumping on the bed, you wouldn't have fallen off, would you?
Right.
And she was like, no. And I was like, so going forward, we're not going to jump on the bed. We're going to make the choice to not jump on the bed to avoid getting hurt.
Right.
And she understood. I said, so what did I just say to you? She was like, if I don't jump on the bed, I won't fall.
Yep.
That's it.
3 years old, they're able to understand that.
Yep.
But yet 25-year-old women or men can't grasp that concept without going, you're victim blaming.
Right.
You're victim shaming. You're blaming the victim. No, I'm not blaming the victim. I'm telling you that you can take accountability at some point for something that's happened, even if it was just the choice and the way that you handled it. There's always a decision that can be made.
Oh, you're getting ready to get into something?
No, I'm gonna let you go. You look like you're about to say something, so go ahead.
I was, yeah. So the victim mentality, that's like saying, if you touch a hot stove, you're going to burn yourself.
Right.
You know you're going to burn yourself if you touch that hot stove. Now, say somebody's screaming at you, touch the hot stove. They don't have a gun on you or anything. They're just yelling at you. And then you touch the hot stove because internally you're like, this person's yelling at me. To get them to stop yelling at me, I'm going to touch the hot stove.
Right.
When the logical reasoning is you don't have to do anything this person's telling you to do just because they're yelling at you. Right. The solution is to walk away.
Right.
That whole scenario sounds ridiculous, right?
It does. It absolutely does. And I got to be honest, I'm going to be the one that's going to shit on people for touching the hot stove. I'm going to call you a dumbass.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to burn you and did it anyways, you're an idiot. If that's victim shaming or blaming, then screw it. I'm that guy. You're a dumbass. I'm going to call a spade a spade.
Right.
Coffee cups shouldn't need to have a warning label on it that says contents of this cup are hot. It's coffee.
Right.
Remove the warning labels. Let natural selection happen. Let's figure this shit out.
You're heated.
No, I'm just, I actually thought about this a lot today.
Yeah.
So I spent 2 hours answering comments, did my workout, which was super fast because I got to the gym before everybody else got in there this morning. And I came down and I sat down and I read the first 9 book of Acts again. And I meditated a little bit, if you want to call it that, prayed, whatever. I took some me time to just kind of process everything. It's not really the meditation, but I'm processing shit that's happened over the last few days. And I realize I no longer give a shit when people insult us on the internet at all.
Me either, yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, good one.
Nice try.
Right. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm on TikTok now or on YouTube now going, hey, thanks for taking the time to troll us. It really helps me in the algorithm. Now that you've done that and you've made that comment, can you go do it to all of our other videos?
Yeah.
You obviously have free time. Let's go. Like, I will hit you with that sarcasm. I don't care. You're not insulting me. You're not hurting my feelings. You are actually helping me by leaving stupid comments.
Right. Because you know what it's going to do?
It's going to drive our views.
Yeah.
It's
and
going to show up in
other
the feeds.
people with the same opinions as the person commenting are going to leave comments.
Yep.
And try to rip us to shreds when in reality you're just pushing us.
Right. And it's literally going to make us money.
Right.
I'm about it.
I had that Cardi B moment the other day. She was like accepting an award for something. And she was like, I want to thank all my supporters out there for buying the album. And she was like, I want to thank all my haters out there for also buying the album to talk shit on me because in the end, I'm making money.
That's it. So I've gotten to the point where there is nothing that's being said in a negative way towards us that bothers me anymore on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook. I honestly don't give a shit. I did realize that I don't do well with stupid comments.
Oh yeah, like straight just ignorance.
I'm getting to the point where I'm getting ready to stop being Mr. Nice Guy on the internet and really start being a dick to people because I'm tired of the stupid comments that are coming through. I posted a clip on TikTok. This is not relevant to what I have on my phone, but it is kind of relevant to the conversation. I posted a short from episode 7 where we were talking about the kept women, and we were having a conversation about something we watched. It's talking about a woman who wanted to be kept. Yeah. Not a stay-at-home mom, not a stay-at-home wife, a woman who wanted to be kept, a woman of luxury. That was what the video was about.
Right, hiring chef, hiring maids.
Right.
She doesn't have to lift a finger for anything.
Right. And I believe at some point in the video, I did actually make the term stay-at-home wife in that comment. But once I posted it, people were like, stay-at-home moms are full-time jobs, and they're bringing kids into it, and that's not at all what the conversation was. We had somebody who was like, the real question is why do you hate your wife so much that you won't let her just have a good life, that you want to make her do all these meaningless tasks, and on and on and on. And finally, I had enough of it. Right. So I typed out, at no point in this video did anyone mention kids. And I copied it and I pasted it on everyone who mentioned stay-at-home mom, because that was not the narrative. And then I made a video calling out somebody who actually follows us because she made a comment. Well, how would you, I don't remember what it was. She was basically shitting on me because I was saying that it's not enough to be a stay-at-home. But she was saying stay-at-home mom and not a stay-at-home wife when we were talking about being a woman of luxury, a kept woman that doesn't have to work.
Right.
So I made a video and kind of ripped her apart. And then everyone that saw the video was like, how did you get that from what he was talking about? And you've obviously never watched his content because he freaking adores his wife.
That was a good catch.
It was. I'm getting passionate.
Yeah.
I'm not angry. I'm passionate. These things really, like, it's like getting splinters under my fingernails because I know that you're not that stupid. There's no way that the people that watch my content is that dumb that they don't understand what's being said.
I don't think it's a matter of intelligence. I think it's a matter of emotional maturity.
They get triggered because they're seeing their life in the video that I'm talking about, and it has nothing to do with them. That video had nothing to do with us.
No, it didn't.
It was a conversation about something else that we saw.
Yeah.
And they still turned it into about them and then attacked me over what we were discussing. I don't understand how that happens. If I hear something that I disagree with, I stop what I'm doing and give it my undivided attention before I say shit. And I will watch those videos 2 or 3 times to make sure I fully understand what's being said before I open my mouth.
Right, because I am not going to look stupid in the comments.
That's it. I would rather be silent and thought of as stupid than open my mouth and prove that I am.
Yeah.
And then those comments started. And like one of the people that I hit that with, there's nothing in this video about children. She replied, oh shit, you're right. I got triggered because I'm up to my eyeballs in diapers right now.
Yeah.
Ta-da. You know, people hear something and then start replying before the video's even finished and miss the entire context of the video because they're angry at something that they heard and feel the need to be heard.
Right.
For those of you who do that shit, and this is a genuine question, what do you think is going to be resolved by your frustration being typed out in the comment section? I don't know you. I don't care about your life. Genuinely, I don't. I would love to see you be a better person and grow.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I don't know you. Your life means nothing to me in the grand scheme of what I'm doing in my life. The want for me to help people grow and be better is because I want society as a whole to improve.
Right.
That's my goal. I'm not trying to make one individual's life better. I'm trying to make thousands of lives better. So making those comments on the internet and being belligerent and being triggered and being emotional and trying to negate the conversation at hand by bringing in your own conversation in your own context that's not relevant to the conversation.
Just to make yourself feel better about where you're at in your life.
Right. How is that going to improve the conversation? How is it going to improve your scenario? You're now triggered. You're angry enough to leave a comment, and then you're going to be pissed off about it, sending it to your friends, talking about it, and all along, all you're doing is building my algorithm. If you truly don't like what I'm saying, scroll past it. That's the best thing that you can do because it's gonna shut me up. You're not gonna see my shit. You're not gonna see us at all, and you're not gonna waste a part of your day arguing with somebody that clearly disagrees with you on the internet because you're not going to change their mind. That's why I don't argue politics on the internet. I will have an intelligent conversation with somebody that disagrees with me till I'm blue in the face, and like the potheads.
Yeah.
We have a lot of disagreements. That dude is one of the coolest people I know. And I can have intelligent conversations with him. And I genuinely, I wish he lived closer. I would hang out with that kid.
Yeah.
We have very opposing views on a lot of shit, but he's an intelligent man. I value that in people. Okay. End rant.
Feel better.
Yep. Do you remember MySpace when you would end your comments, people would be like the brackets with the slash and rant? Yeah. In my head, I just ended rant.
I do remember that.
HTML.
Oh, we're so old.
Yep. All right.
Wow.
Okay. I apologize for this, guys. Somebody wrote, every time I try to find a traditional relationship, it ends in DV. What am I doing wrong?
You're getting into traditional relationships with non-traditional men.
Shitty people. Right. But she actually said, what am I doing wrong?
Right. So she's asking, where's my accountability in this?
That's what I thought.
Right. Because what else does that mean?
Right. I said, sounds like you're finding shitty men. You may be part of the problem too, communication issues and whatnot.
Right.
So, oh wait. So I'm the problem. I have BPD. So yes, I'm tricky, but pretty sure that wasn't an invite for sexual, physical, and psychological abuse from another.
Jesus Christ.
Instant victim mode. And I wrote, as someone who I wrote laughing my effing ass off. As someone who also has BPD, yes, we can be the problem for sure. I'm not saying that it's an excuse to be abused, but you can find accountability in all things. I know that sometimes I know that, but sometimes is it just domestic violence abuse? I said, for example, find better men.
Yeah.
Notice red flags. If they seem unstable, leave. If they seem like a threat, assess the situation and decide if it's safe. You realize you really went straight for the victim card. I apologize if that's what you thought I was getting at. I assume that people who ask questions really follow our content. That's my fault for assuming. If you say something to me and say, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
I immediately assume, which you should never assume, you make an ass out of you and me when you do that.
Right.
That you are taking accountability. So when I ask you, what are you doing? Maybe it's you. What can you take accountability for? And you go, red card, victim. Nope, we're not having this conversation. I'm not doing this. You're like the stress card in the military because somebody's in your face screaming at you. Come on.
It's almost like she just tried to bait you.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? You answer with what she could be doing wrong. Oh, well, I'm the problem.
Right.
That's
Go ahead.
What am I doing wrong is taking accountability for possibly being part of the problem.
Right.
Is that not a thing anymore?
No, it's not, because now it's okay to just be the victim and blame everyone else for everything that's going on. I understand she's been abused. I get that. I've been abused.
Everybody's
You've
been abused.
It happens.
There's different levels of abuse, but to some extent, almost every single person has been abused.
Right. The way that we process the abuse, the way that we move forward with new people that may or may not abuse us in the future, the way that we escalate situations where abuse can happen, there are all things there that you can take accountability for. Am I saying that it's all your fault? No. But I'm saying that somewhere along the line, you could have found something to make your life better, and you would not find men that just abuse you over and over and over again. And if you are finding men over and over and over again who abuse you, you're the common denominator.
Right.
What are you doing? I have seen women attack men and then get their ass beat and be like, I don't understand what happened. You attacked him. What the hell did you think was going to happen? You came at him with a knife and he defended himself. What did you think was going to happen? You got in his face and started pushing him and threw a drink in his face. What did you think was going to happen? Accountability. This is the kind of shit that on TikTok that makes me want to like, I wish that they would just remove the community guideline violations and I could unload on people and let them know how stupid they are. Don't ask me what you can do better if you can't take accountability.
Right.
Don't even ask me shit. Just assume that I'm going to shit on you and I'm the most horrible, evil man on the planet and keep scrolling because I've got nothing for you.
Right. Yeah, when people ask me for advice, I ask them, like, are you willing to hear what I have to say? Because it's probably going to hurt your feelings.
Right.
Don't come to me if you just want a yes man and be like, oh, yeah, your man's the fucking problem. Oh, I said it.
Yeah.
If you want me to say your man's the problem and you need to leave him and you're a bad bitch who don't need no man, I'm not going to be that person.
Right.
I'm going to ask you, oh, your husband's yelling at you? Well,
there you go. You were hiding behind the microphone again.
Yeah.
People like to see your face.
Why?
Them amazing teeth because you're hot.
I feel like I look like a soggy strawberry shortcake.
Had to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, like a strawberry shortcake that's been sitting out for an hour or
I would
two.
eat that.
Yeah.
Move to your left a little bit more. Sorry. I know that I just derailed you.
Yeah.
But I saw the back of the camera and all I saw was this.
I don't remember what I was saying.
You were saying that if somebody asks you for advice, you ask them if they actually want the truth because you're not going to just agree with them that their man is the problem.
Yeah, no. If you want to be friends with me, you have to be willing to be able to take accountability for what's going on in your life. Like that analogy I made the other day of a plane crashes, we scrutinized the pilot.
Yeah. I want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
I do. And to think that I can do no wrong is asinine. Mm-hmm. No one is perfect. We all mess up. And in somebody's story, you're the villain.
Oh, yeah. I think about that a lot.
So do I, because I don't want to be that guy. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a lot of people out there that truly hate my guts, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I have leveled up in my life. I have taken accountability, and I've worked on me. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to accept that. You don't have to like me. You don't have to forgive me. That's fine. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until the day I'm not here anymore. Mm-hmm. But I am going to look at the situation and go, okay, I really messed that up. That's my fault. How do I fix this? How do I not do this in the future? I don't even need to fix it because it's over with. I've accepted that it's over with.
How can you correct the behavior for a future scenario?
Right. How do I not relive this shitty situation? Mm-hmm. And if she would have asked that question to herself instead of getting on the internet going, I pick abusive men. What am I doing wrong?
You pick abusive men. I have a very hard time feeling bad for women who constantly want to play the victim card. If you got abused once and you're like, I will never be with a man who hits me again, I see that as an empowered woman.
Right.
If you get hit by one man and you get into a relationship with a different man, but he has the same tendencies and you get hit again, how many times do you have to touch the stove to burn yourself?
Right. I agree.
And I'm saying that as a woman who has experienced domestic violence.
Right.
Because I don't want people in the comments, well, oh, you don't know how hard it is. You don't know what it's like to live through that. I do.
Right.
And I would never put up with that again because I have self-worth. And I found my self-esteem. And I know that I'm worth more than that.
Right.
When are you going to pick yourself up and say, okay, I'm worth more than this?
That's the question. Where's your self-esteem? Mm-hmm. Because a woman who really, truly loves herself and values her life will not put herself in a situation to have that situation repeat itself. Mm-hmm. You're going to be like, okay, there's a red flag. Maybe the guy got drunk and was belligerent, and you meet a guy, and the first time you go out, he gets drunk and gets rowdy. Mm-mm. There's your flag.
Not going out
I've
again.
lived in that situation, not doing that shit again. Mm-hmm. I got to go. Call your homie and get out. I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that go, well, sometimes they don't show you their true selves until way down the line. Bullshit.
Then you leave.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
I don't care how much I love somebody. I don't care how long I've known somebody. We could be friends for 20 years. And if you show me who you are 20 years into that friendship, I will drop you like a bad habit.
Yep.
I'm not willing to sacrifice my peace to make somebody else happy.
Can we stop calling it peace and start calling it quality of life?
Okay.
I think I like that better.
Yeah.
Because I value you as my peace, and I feel like calling other things our peace degrades that or lessens that phrase for me. It's selfish?
I don't think it's selfish. It makes sense.
I just don't want to equate that for you to other people. It is selfishness. That's purely a me thing. I would rather say quality of life because I can't believe we just did this on the podcast. You are my peace. And that's something that I hold special with you, and I'm going to be selfish.
Okay. I like that.
I feel so childish right now.
I don't think it's childish. That makes me feel valued.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. You want to save one specific terminology for me because of what I bring to your life.
Yes.
I don't think that's selfish.
That was worded way better. We had another comment that popped up that I believe is from somebody on Patreon, but it was on a YouTube video, and she said it was on the one where I talked about how I had done the stay-at-home dad thing for a little while, and there was a back and forth, and she's got a 3, 6, and a 9-month-old. I might be wrong on those numbers. I'm just pulling it from memory, but she hasn't found her groove yet as a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. Dad's working 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, so like he's grinding, and she's doing the stay-at-home mom thing. And for me to say it was easy bothered her because I didn't struggle with it. And it's because my life is chaotic and I thrive in chaos. That's why I'm successful in business, because I thrive in those moments.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that get overwhelmed and shut down and can't push through, right? And we talked about that a little bit back and forth, and I don't remember the video that was on. I really wish that I would have saved that link like I did this last one so that we could talk about it. But when you have, I asked her, which I haven't seen her reply yet, how often she does things that she enjoys. Because when you are in a position where you are constantly stressed out, and you're not doing the things that you enjoy, everything becomes overwhelming. Excuse me. You live in a constant state of, oh my, oh my, oh my.
Yeah.
Kids get under your skin. Because kids do that. I don't care what anybody says. You can love your kids to death, but your kids are annoying.
They're assholes.
Yes. And they will annoy the shit out of you. That's just, that ice maker is very loud.
Yeah, it's popping off today.
So, I had commented back and forth on her on that. And like, I told her, I was like, this sounds like you're trying to give me an I gotcha because you have it worse than I had it because I only had 2 kids and it was summer vacation and like I was able to time management. And she was like, no, I'm not trying to give you an I gotcha moment. She's like, I'm really struggling. And this is going to lead into the next conversation that I have. But I want to point out that everyone has to find their stride. You remember learning how to whistle when you were a kid. Can you whistle?
Yes.
Okay.
I was getting ready to do it. I was like, oh no, now I'm on the spot. What if I can't?
My mom told me that you learn how to whistle in the shower. Right?
Okay.
I don't, there's probably no truth to that. But her telling me that made me practice whistling while I was in the shower so she didn't have to hear it. It's really smart.
That was really smart.
Right.
Wow.
So I learned how to whistle one day. I was in the shower and I was blowing and it finally made a noise. I'm like, oh shit. And then I did it again and I was like, it clicked. I'm like, okay, this is how you whistle.
Yeah.
You always get that one moment where you're doing something and it just clicks. And I was going to use that metaphor as a tattoo thing because when you level up in tattooing, you will struggle with something in art until it just all of a sudden makes sense. And you're like, how come I couldn't get this for the last 6 months? This is so easy.
Right.
Because it just clicks all of a sudden. And it's no different than learning how to whistle or learning how to do a card trick or whatever the case may be. So leading into this next conversation, I want to tell her, because I know she's going to hear this video, that I believe that you just haven't found your groove. I think that when everything starts lining up for you and you start doing things to enjoy your life again and you minimize your overall stress, you're not going to feel thinned out, spread thin. You're not going to feel like everything is just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Right.
Because you're going to find a little bit of enjoyment that you're going to give yourself every day. And then you're going to just let things kind of fall into place and you're going to do the mom thing. And it's just going to be a normal thing for you. But everyone has to find their stride. And until you find that groove that you can just operate in, you're going to live in that panicky state.
I want to point out the way that she came across when she first commented. It was very attacking. She was, I agree. I felt like that was kind of trying to have an I got you moment. Right. And then after a back and forth, she just flat out said, I'm not trying to get you. I'm really struggling. Right. That's all that needs to be said.
So that's a really good point.
You don't have to give a whole backstory and be angry and be like, well, because you had it easier doesn't mean that it's easy for all of us.
Right.
If you're having a hard time, just say you're having a hard time.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's no weakness in that.
There's strength in it.
There's times where like I am behind on stuff and the kids are doing their thing and I just look at you and I'm like, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
And you stand there, you comfort me, you ask what you can do to help. You'll take care of laundry, you'll put dishes away, whatever you have to do to help me in that moment.
Right.
You wouldn't have done anything to help me if I didn't say anything.
Right, because I wouldn't have known.
Right.
And that's why when you said that a minute ago, I was like, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's a really good point because you're right. All it comes down to is if you're really struggling that hard, you need to talk to your husband. Right.
And it doesn't have to be a lash out. It doesn't have to be an attack. The panic that you're feeling inside of you is not happening outside of you. So all the internal panic and the frustration and the anger that you're feeling, nobody else sees it.
Right.
They might see your shitty facial expressions. They might hear you sighing or mumbling or being irritated, but they're not going to really know what's going on with you because only you have access to your minds. Right.
And you're going to get a very different response if you're under your breath whispering, nagging, complaining versus just going, hey, I would love it if you just helped me real quick. I love it when you take out the trash. Can you do that for me so that I don't have to do it while I go do this? Yeah, sure. I got you. Whatever, Right. But it is the approach. The approach matters. Your delivery matters. All of that is super important.
Yeah.
So going from that conversation, there was another one where we have gotten a lot of questions about time management.
Okay.
And they want you to make another time management video, but not like a TikTok thing where you've got your whiteboard. Because those of you who don't follow her on TikTok, go to her TikTok, inked_goddess13. There are time management videos on there where she's got a whiteboard and a marker and she's doing a thing.
Yeah.
It's on there. You can go look at it. But people want to hear about the time management. And then this is going to lead into another conversation for Patreon because Tony, who's in our Patreon, also follows on Facebook or YouTube, and said that they asked a question about traditional roles when both people work, and we answered it a little bit. And she was like, I was the one that asked that question. It wasn't a gotcha thing. She's like, I'm genuinely have questions. But then I went to Patreon and saw that she's on there. So I want to do an in-depth talk about that because your tattoo apprenticeship is picking back up Sunday. Today's Friday. No, today's Tuesday.
Wow, today's not Friday.
No, today's Tuesday. So
did we just get an email? We did.
Ironically enough, Tony just posted that.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yep. So I want to get into that. Do you want to make a separate time management video? Can we? Because that can be like a 30 or 40-minute conversation if we really sat down and like planned that.
Okay.
So if you're okay with that, I would like to just put it out there that that's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going to save this for Patreon because that is a whole nother thing.
Okay.
Do you have, I guess it's a good time to plug Patreon. Would you like to plug Patreon? And move over just a little bit or move the microphone so that we can see that beautiful face and you can give us the plug.
So if you don't follow us on Patreon, you should. $10 a month gets you access to videos not posted anywhere else. More in-depth and more personal stuff gets talked about over there. And for $15 a month, you will have access to 4 live calls a month. And typically, I would say about 10 or 15 people are in the chat. So it is a lot of one-on-one attention and a really good back and forth. We're building a community there.
We really are. And we're up to 61 patrons now. So also, since we're plugging ourselves, all of the things that you hear YouTubers tell you to do, you should do that. You're listening, you're 40 minutes into this podcast or this episode or this whatever this is.
Whatever we're doing.
And you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, you are slacking in life. You really need to do that because we're telling you to.
Well, not just that, but we've received a lot of emails on how we're actually helping people grow in their lives and they're landing job interviews and they're landing better paying jobs with confidence and their marriages are getting better and they've ripped divorce papers up.
When that dude told me that because he sent me an email and we didn't actually make a video about it. I actually just responded to him. That guy sent me an email about talking to people. And said that when he gets in front of groups of people, he has a hard time talking to people that are his superiors in a job. And he asked me for some recommendations on books. And like, I just had a normal back and forth email from him. He joined our Patreon and he told us on the last live stream that he got a huge promotion. Yeah. Not like a little one. Like because he just stepped up and was like, this is what I want. And they gave it to him.
Yeah.
I love that. I got goosebumps. I love seeing people level up in life. That does it for me.
Yeah.
Because you're taking accountability in a different way, not just owning like your flaws. You are taking accountability for your future. And I believe that personal excellence is the foundation, like the building stone of everything that you're going to get in life. And if you believe that you are going to make it in life and you live that life like the world is going to give you what you want, you're going to get it because you're going to believe that it's coming and you're going to go live that life and it's going to come to you. Like I love that shit. We're 43 minutes in of nonsense.
Yeah.
You want to jump into an email? AJ's going to love this.
Why?
Because we're hitting the formats that he keeps telling me that we need to have a specific format on how we do these.
Okay.
And he does not like it when we just jump into emails. I told him again today he needs to move to Florida.
Of course you did. Well, I had an email, and because we got a bunch of emails, it jumped around. So while I'm looking for the one that I had, this is a 2-sentence suggestion for a topic, and I'll let you talk about it because it is directed at you.
Oh.
Can you talk about how important it is to love her using her love language and not the way that you feel love? It is important to pay attention to how she feels her love.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So this is going to blow your mind. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All it takes is communication. Wow. When you find out what people need, yours is physical touch.
It is, yeah.
I learned that from you because when the first time we had an argument, after we had the argument, you were like, when we are having an argument and you don't touch me afterwards, you feel a certain kind of way. I'm not going to put it all out there, but we had a long discussion about that. And it dawned on me in that moment that you are a physical touch love language person. So anytime that you're not feeling at your best or I'm not feeling like I'm doing enough, I make it a point to lay on you or to hold you or to pick you up over my shoulder and carry you through the house and body slam you or on the bed or whatever it is that we do, because I know that you need that as a form of intimacy. This is no different than being able to communicate with somebody on their way of communication.
Right.
Because you and I communicate differently. And I've had to learn to communicate in your way to express certain points versus just giving it the way that I talk, because what I say and what you hear aren't the same thing. And those roles get reversed heavily because I'm a very, like, my BPD throws that shit way out the window. Oh, that was another thing we have to talk about in
the BPD
in Patreon. Okay. I want to make a note real quick. And Frank, my handy dandy notebook over there.
I love that you got the name.
Yeah. That's going to be a whole conversation.
Okay.
The love languages is important. I would say that it's almost as important as being able to properly communicate things. The other the other facet of that is that you need to be able to give intimacy the way that they receive intimacy, because not all women just want to have their ass smacked and told they're hot.
Right.
That might be enough for some women. A booty grab in a public space and being pulled towards you to kiss might make them melt. And other women might be like, oh, bitch, get off me. What's wrong with you? You need to understand what makes your woman tick. And if you don't understand what makes your woman tick, your intimacy is going to fail. And when intimacy fails, communication fails, respect falls, sex falls,
everything falls
apart.
Everything
is going to fall apart. Intimacy is going to be the building block of everything that you've got going in your relationship. And I promise you, when your intimacy fails, everything else in the relationship falls apart. And if you think I'm wrong and you've got a relationship where you don't have intimacy, think about the last time you had it. And I guarantee you've been in the roommate phase since.
Yep.
Tell me I'm wrong. Get in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. I'll call you a liar. Did that answer that one?
I think that was good.
Okay.
All right, so this one is...
Wait, one more thing on that. If you understand your partner's love language and they understand yours and you're able to talk to them in that love language and you're able to provide the intimacy that they want, the way that they want it, they're going to reciprocate that.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to have an amazing, intimate sexual relationship. And if that's not enough reason for you to want to do those things, I don't know what to tell you, because that should be priority number one. I'm going to get the booty. As a man, that should be priority number one, because that is a big thing for most men. Sex is a huge, important thing. So if you're able to maintain that intimacy and you're able to talk to them in their love language and they're able to respect you, you're not going to fall out of that. You're going to have that lustful honeymoon phase last for years. Who doesn't want that? You're smirking.
I'm just over here thinking, like, I keep my man satisfied. So
we still have that though.
Yeah, we do. Anything else you want to add before we
don't be afraid to tell your man what you want. Being verbal, it's a very simple thing.
It is.
You know, if you want some play and you want him to foreplay and you want him to warm that engine up, tell him that. You can get really vulgar in his ear. Nobody needs to know what's being said. And I guarantee you, he will outperform that night if you just tell him.
He will lose his mind.
Yes. Yep.
It works.
Yeah.
There are nights where you have no intention and I just tell you what I want and you're like, it's on.
Let's go.
That's it.
Yep.
It literally just takes you saying, I want you to touch me.
Yep. Do you know why that works so well for us? This comes down to the empowered wife.
Yeah.
Men want to make their women happy.
You want to provide.
And when we know that we're doing something that you like that makes you happy, we're going to do it.
You guys are such simple creatures.
It's like I've been saying that for months on this podcast. We're easy. You just have to understand how to talk to us.
Yeah.
It is very simple.
Crazy. So she says, I am a 25-year-old female and my boyfriend is 34 years old. We've only been dating since September of 2022. So this was sent today.
Okay.
So September to now, that's like what, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah.
Okay. He married his high school sweetheart and had 2 wonderful kids with her and then got divorced due to her cheating. Although it ended badly, the 2 co-parent together great. I've met her, have had dinner with her and the kids, and she's wonderful. He then got remarried and has 2 kids with one on the way with his technical wife right now.
Okay, wait a minute. They're in a relationship and he's married?
I say technical because they are still legally married, but do not live together and are working on getting divorced due to issues they were having.
Okay, so the term you're looking for is separated.
Right.
Okay.
but cannot get divorced yet because where we live, if the wife is pregnant, you have to wait until the baby is born.
What? That makes no sense to me. I'm not saying that it's a wrong law, but like...
Right.
Huh.
Okay, I want to read this a little bit more before I start formulating an opinion.
Okay.
My boyfriend has had his trouble with relationships, as have I. I just haven't been married or divorced, thankfully. His financial situation is not the best right now, but he is working on making it better. He is a good man, a good father, and a very hard worker. He treats me how I have always wanted to be by a significant other. We communicate great, have so much in common, yet still have our differences, and are able to laugh and play together. I am head over heels, would do anything for him. He is a man, not one of the boys I'm used to dating. He has never asked for money or for my help given his situation. Even though I try to offer, he tells me no, and that it is his to work through. We have talked it out, and he is now giving me some room to help with certain things, which is a big step for him and for us, and it makes me really happy to be able to help and take some stress off of him. I've met his kids, and they're amazing. I really love them. The issue is the entire time we have been together, it's had to be a secret to his technical wife so she does not try taking him for more than he can give in a divorce. My thing is, am I crazy for waiting? Am I crazy for getting involved with a man who is kind of a mess right now, but trying to make his life better? And I know other people will look at us and see the age difference and say that it'll never work, but I disagree. What's your honest opinion? I know it's a lot. I don't think age has really much of a factor.
No.
I mean, you guys are 9 years apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much different than we are.
Right.
When it comes down to it, so there's a couple things that I want to address in that email. First and foremost, if you think his financial situation is a little strained right now, wait till that divorce takes place.
Oh, yeah.
And he has to pay alimony and child support because that's going to stress his finances even more. I personally don't think that you guys should be dating right now because he is not divorced yet. If the divorce papers have been initiated, and he's put in for the divorce and they're just waiting on the baby to finalize the divorce, that's a different scenario.
Right.
If they're just separated and have not filed for divorce yet, you are sleeping with a married man, as far as I'm concerned. I think the best case scenario, and this is because this is my scenario, when he's going through that divorce, you should be keeping him as a courting only and like a friend and be there for him without the sexual intimacy.
I think it should also be, you shouldn't be getting involved with the children at this point. That is way too soon. And I also want to chime in with, if she thinks his financial situation is hard now, he's getting ready to have 5 kids. He already has
2
4.
ex-wives.
He has 4 with 1 on the way.
Yeah, and 2 ex-wives.
Something to think about is, if you're 25, do you want kids? Because he might be done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
He has 5 kids at this point. He might not want to have any more kids in the future. So if that's a big deal to you, you want to have a family and your own biological children, you might want to really consider that, having that conversation.
I didn't even think about that. That's a damn good point. Yeah, that's definitely a conversation that's supposed to be had when you're courting, though.
Right.
Like I know that our desires can sometimes get the best of us. So I'm not hating on them for sleeping together and doing what they're doing, but I think that it would have been better. It would have served you both better had you waited and you've been there for him as a friend while he's doing the divorce thing and did not
try to make an advance or anything.
Right. You should have waited on that. I really think that you would have had a better outcome if you would have just postponed all of that. It would have given you at least 9 months. If she's pregnant, we'll assume that she just got pregnant. So, the longest possible thing would be 9 months.
Right.
That you could have learned the in and outs about this man, and you guys could have spent a lot of time going to dinner dates and having conversations and learning what makes him tick and how he's handling the divorce and whose fault it was and if any of this was his fault and if he's taking accountability. And it sounds very familiar.
It does, yeah. He is he's definitely going through it right now. He's leaving a second failed marriage.
Right.
He now has 5 kids, 1 on the way. She's still pregnant, so they just ended recently.
Right.
This man's getting ready to go through it. This baby's going to be born, and he's not going to be able to be there full time because they're separated.
And what's that going to do to him mentally?
Right. That's going to really be hard. So he has split custody with the previous wife with only 2 kids. So they co-parent great. He now has to find out a whole new co-parenting schedule with his soon-to-be ex-wife.
Right.
He's not seeing any of his kids every single day. like this is going to be a very hard relationship going out.
I think the hardest thing for that man is going to be the fact that he's getting divorced and has a baby coming.
Right.
Like the divorce itself is always a trying thing, whether you're the one who initiated it or you were the one who was served it. Like a divorce is a trying emotional process. You add a child that's being brought into the world, and now there's conflict over who's going to see the child, when you're going to see the child, the money that goes into the child, and all of that. It's going to create another layer of problems. Dude's going to have a whole lot of work to do after all of this. And like, I'm not saying that what you're doing is not going to work. It's very possible that this could be the best relationship that you ever had.
It's going to take a lot of work though.
But you need to be prepared to put on your work boots because you're about to go through this shit.
It's going to take patience.
Yep.
It's going to take understanding. A lot of the time you're going to have to push aside your own feelings of either anger or frustration or jealousy, whatever's going on, because like his whole life is about to be what's the word? I can't even think of it.
Flipped upside down. It's
upheavaled.
Yeah.
Upheld, whatever.
Yeah. So the question in that aspect though is, are you strong enough to do all of everything that Chris just said? Because you're going to have to do that. That man is about to be going through some turmoil. And if you think that you're strong enough to be his support system, then be his support system. But if you are wavering and you aren't sure, you need to take a step back and let this man process and grieve and figure his life out, and then step back in when the time is right.
Right.
I don't know. That this is one of those times where I'm split 50-50. Part of me is like, hell yeah, girl, do that shit. Like, you got this. Be that bitch. Like, get it. And then there's other parts of me that are like, oh, you really don't want to do that shit.
Yeah. I can't say anything super definitively on this because we aren't experts in her life. She's the expert of her life. She knows what she can handle.
Right.
Something else to consider is he's keeping you guys a secret because soon-to-be ex-wife will probably lose her mind.
Yeah. She's going to lose her mind anyway. Either
right.
way.
So even once the divorce is finalized and they're legally separated, she is still probably going to lose her mind and make your life hard.
Yep. There'll still be conflict. Absolutely.
She's going to indirectly make your life hard. She's going to make his life hard, but it's going to affect you.
Yep. You got to be ready for that either way.
She might limit his time with the kids, and that's going to throw him into a spiral.
Or say, I don't want my kids around some other woman. Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot. You're getting ready to get into a whole situation, and you really have to sit down and weigh everything going into this, because it's not just you two. It's you two ex-wives, and 5 kids.
Yep. You can Bonnie and Clyde that shit. This is. You could be that woman that's just ready to put some Vaseline on your gloves, tuck your chin, and come out swinging and fight the world for this man. And if you believe that you are strong enough to do that,
do it.
Then do it. Run that shit. But if you are wavering in any way, shape, or form, you are setting yourself up for disaster.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And I really, she said that she loves that man more than she's loved anybody that she's been with. And that she's got a man and not a boy like the normal boys that she's had.
If you really think that he is a man and he is a good man, and maybe the reason his first 2 marriages failed is because of the wives, he could have been doing everything right, and they're just modern day feminists.
You went there.
If you truly believe he is a good man and he is going to put you above all else, and he's going to take care of his kids and make sure your life is right, and you're willing to stand by a good man, stand by a good man. Yeah. I would go through hell for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're a good man.
Well, hopefully you don't have to do that.
I told you the other day, I think you're a good old boy.
Yeah, I got a big kick out of that.
I've always wanted one.
Yeah.
And now I have one.
That's funny. I got to be honest, in this scenario, I think the answer is to sit down with him. Express your concerns from a you standpoint, not a him standpoint.
Yes.
Be like, I know what's about to come our way, and I think I'm strong enough to deal with it, but I need to know, and I need reassurances from you. And explain to him where your shortcomings are going to be, how you guys are going to work through them when they happen, because there's a strong possibility they will. And if they don't, you've got a plan.
Right.
So in worst case scenario, you've devised a plan for something that's not going to happen. It's like having your pew-pew. It's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. Right. Figure that shit out, and then just start attacking life the way that it needs to be attacked. I don't know. I think that I'm kind of excited about this one.
It could definitely work out.
Right.
Like, we don't know this man. We don't know the exes.
Right.
Like, we don't know anything about that. So without personally knowing these people and their characters and their morals and all that kind of stuff, we really can't say anything super definitive.
Right.
this could be the dopest relationship of your life.
It could be a total disaster too.
It could. It could totally be a mess like at O SpaghettiOs.
If you want it bad enough, you'll try to make it work though.
Right.
And if he wants it bad enough, he'll try too. So I guess that really just comes down to you guys having that conversation and figuring out if this is going to work. But you need to be prepared for all the shitstorm that's coming, because when that shit starts flying, it's hurricane force.
Something to think about is if this isn't a man that you've known for a while, like you just met him 7 months ago and you've been dating for 5, you don't really know this man.
Right. He
could be the most amazing man now because you're new and you're fun and you're different from what he's had for the last 6 years.
Yep.
And in a year, he could be a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
So if you haven't known this man for 3 years and you're now in a relationship and you met him 7 months ago on a dating app or something, I would pump the brakes a little bit, let him solve his shit, and still do the courting phase like you said.
Yeah. I'm a huge proponent for courting. I really truly believe that, like, I believe that it needs to be monogamous, and that if you're starting to see someone, you're not seeing other people, because I believe if you are seeing other people, you're taking the attention away from possibly building a foundation. And I know that there are going to be people that say that they disagree, that if you're not in an intimate relationship with somebody, you can do whatever you want. But I think if you want to make that work and you want to be with that person, you should focus your attention on that person and not other people. Then if it takes 6 months or a year for you to really hash out your shit and figure out if this is what you want, take that time. Will it suck to not have sex that long? Absolutely. It will suck. But when it happens, everything else will be worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You learn a lot about people during that time. You learn a lot about their loyalty. You learn a lot about who they are as a person. If they have to wait, if they're willing to wait, what their patience looks like. You're going to learn. You're going to see how he reacts under pressure during a divorce. You're going to see how he is with his kids. Like, you've already met his ex-wife that he's already co-parenting with. Maybe you should talk to her and see what made their marriage fail and see what she has to say about that whole scenario.
Yeah.
You know, but tell him you're going to do that first.
Oh yeah.
Don't just go behind his back.
I agree.
Yep. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
We're an hour in.
So are we just filming the podcast today? Or what is this?
No, we got to do that on Thursday.
Okay.
This is just us. We have backlogs.
Okay.
Creating content so that AJ can work.
So
we need to make t-shirts that say support AJ. Subscribe to the channel, support AJ.
I love that. You want to talk about the car situation?
The car situation?
Yeah, the chick who gave her car to her boyfriend.
We can.
Okay. Do I have my phone on me? I do.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So this chick reached out to us on. So TikTok changed it to where anybody can message you.
Yeah. Thank God you can still turn that off.
Right. So before we were able to change it back, she messaged both of us. So she said, so I have been seeing this guy for a little over a year, and I'm noticing more and more weird things in the relationship. 1, I am not allowed to touch his phone for any reason other than to hand it to him. If I try to unlock his phone, he snatches it from me. 2, I am not allowed at his house, nor have I ever been to his house. When we spend the night together, it is usually at my home. 3, about 5 months ago, I let him borrow my car so his cousin could take the kids back and forth from school because his car broke down. Now, the guy I'm seeing does have an SUV he drives daily, but I let him use my car for the kids, which I have 2 of my own, and I have to be able to get to since they spend a lot of time with my mom because I work full time. But every time I mention my car, he makes me feel like complete and utter shit for asking about it. And about a month or so ago, I asked for my car. I'm going to pause there. I asked for my car. You should not have to ask for permission on anything that is in your own name.
So, fun fact, when you give somebody the keys to your vehicle for them to borrow it, you cannot report it stolen because you gave them the keys to the car.
Right.
So in the event that you're dealing with a situation like this and they refuse to give you your vehicle back, legally there is nothing you can do.
Right.
The cops aren't going to go get your shit back. You let them borrow it.
Yeah.
It's a civil matter. It's not criminal.
So I messaged her and I was like, email us because I don't do the messaging thing on TikTok.
Right.
And she emailed us and I said, how long have you known him? And she was like, well, we've been dating for a year. And I was like, right, that doesn't tell me how long you've known this man.
Right.
She started dating him when she met him.
Right.
So
Didn't
she's
they
only
meet on
known
a dating site?
Yes. So she's only known this man for a year, gave him her car and hasn't seen it since. She then told me that they went and looked at the car. It's destroyed. Do not be kind to people you've just met. Do not give up your only mode of transportation to help somebody else's children when you have kids sitting at home.
Right.
Her son missed a doctor's appointment because she didn't have a car because she gave it to some man she just met.
You know the difference between a giver and somebody who takes? You only have so much to give.
Mm-hmm. But they will keep taking.
They will take everything. Mm-hmm. And they will have everything and you will have nothing.
And then once you don't have anything else to give them, they're going to move on to somebody else.
So I'm willing to bet that, one, he's probably married or in a relationship with someone else and told whoever it was that he's with that he bought that car. Mm-hmm. He's now got it at his house. He's destroyed it. Mm-hmm. He refuses to give it back. Civil matter, she could have it towed to her house because it is technically in her name,
right?
Which is going to cost her money to do. Mm-hmm. And the car is destroyed, according to the email. I'm willing to bet if she asked for the car back, he would refuse to give it to her.
Oh, yeah, he has.
Yeah.
He's been beating around the bush and saying, well, I need it. You gave it to me, all this other shit.
Yeah.
I understand that people have traumas and people go through things and they want to be loved. And some people's definition of getting love is giving things. What she did, in my mind, qualifies her as a bad parent.
Yeah, because she put somebody else's kid before her own.
She gave up her only mode of transportation to help somebody else's children.
Right.
When she has 2 infants at home.
Why didn't she just be like, I'll take them to the doctor's appointment today? If they have a doctor's appointment, because that's why she gave the car. She gave it so that his cousin's kids can go to a doctor's appointment.
She gave up for transportation to school or something.
Okay. Oh, the doctor's appointment was for her kids.
For her,
right.
Yeah. And she was like, I need my car back so I can take my son to his appointment. And he said no.
Yeah. I don't understand logic like this. I can't wrap my head around it.
It infuriates me that a woman is willing to give everything to a man so she can feel loved while simultaneously being okay with neglecting their child.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
So here's another devil's advocate side of this. If you have a woman in your life who is willing to sacrifice everything to make you happy, and you are a good man, do you think that's a recipe to have a successful marriage?
Only if you do it for a good man.
Yeah.
You don't know if a man is a good man or not 3 months into meeting them.
I agree. That's not what I was getting at. Because she's sacrificing everything.
Right.
Putting strangers in front of her kids, the whole nine. If most women had that energy towards the men that they're with and that like they're actually with, because she's not actually with this dude. No. He just comes over when he can.
It sounds like friends with benefits.
That's what it sounds like.
And she wants it to be more, and she's trying to give everything she can to make it be more, right. And he's just taking advantage of the situation.
That's what it sounds like to me too.
She even emailed back and said, my family thinks that he has a family of his own.
There you go. We just said the same shit.
And I said, like, yeah, it could be a possibility. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, no, he's just taking his time and this, and that. No, he's using you.
Yeah.
He is abusing the situation, and you have put your kids in a bad spot because you want a man to love you.
Yeah. So in this scenario, I would call a non-emergency police office number, police number, and find out if there's legal repercussions because he's had the car for as long as he had. The car is destroyed. His name's not on it. So there could be a vandalism thing there. Mm-hmm. And that could be the reason that she goes and gets the keys with the police officer. And if I was her, I would show up to that house.
Yeah.
I would go get my car. And if that means getting a police officer or getting a brother or a cousin to come with you so you're not alone, I would go knock on that door. Mm-hmm. And I would do it when you know he's probably at work. And see if there's a woman that answers that door and be like, that's my car. Mm-hmm. I have the title for it.
Yep. Oh, I would ruin that whole man's life.
I would too. Absolutely. And I'm not a vindictive person. I would rather get my shit back and walk away than have to deal with all that kind of drama. Mm-hmm. I would blow his shit up.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's wild to me, some of the emails that we get, because we do get emails that are easy to navigate around. Mm-hmm. We get emails that are one-sided, which kind of makes things difficult because we're only hearing the negative thing about the partner, but we do get emails that are both sided. Mm-hmm. We get emails that start off, here are all my flaws, here are all his flaws, and here's where we're butting heads. What do we do about it? Those are super easy to deal with because we're not involved. Mm-hmm. And then we get emails like this. And we get emails like the one that you tried to read a minute ago, which I'm going to cut out completely. I'm not even going to include that in there. That shit bothers me.
Yeah.
But we get those kind of emails and like, what do you want us to say in this scenario? There's nothing we can tell you other than you really messed up.
Yeah.
Stop doing for people.
I used to be that people pleaser. Like, I wanted everybody to be happy. And If somebody wanted my shoes, I would give them my shoes and go barefoot. And I would do it for the wrong people.
Right.
That would just take advantage and use me. I am so guarded against humanity now. Like, I'll be a positive energy in your life. I will tell you that your hobby's super dope. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm not going to give you money if you ask for it.
Right.
If I've only known you for 3 months and you ask me for $100 to pay your bills, sorry, can't help you out. I have my own shit to pay for.
Yeah.
Not doing it anymore. I knew someone for 3 weeks and they asked me for $150 to get their kids' diapers, and I gave it to them, and they went and blew it on alcohol that weekend.
Yeah, I'm not doing for others. I have done a lot for a lot of people. And honestly, the ones that have cost me the most amount of money were the ones that I loved, that were in my life for a long time.
Yeah.
And I will do kind gestures because I want to, but I'm not doing shit for anyone who asks me.
Right.
I'm not. I've been burned so many times that it's not worth doing for people that are coming to ask for shit. Mm-hmm. People who are good people, like truly good people, have too much pride to ask you for help.
Yep.
And like their last ditch effort is to ask somebody for help. Mm-hmm. And you can tell if they really need it. Like I had a friend once that needed like $600 to pay a power bill, and he had like 5 kids. I'm like, I can go log on to FBL and just pay it for you, and then you can pay me back whenever you've got the money. He's like, yeah, man, perfect. That'll work. And sure enough, his power was scheduled to be shut off. But if he was just like, let me get $500 for my power bill, like, screw you.
Right.
I'm not giving you that kind of money. I don't know. I don't understand why people put themselves in a position that's going to put them out. Like, if you are in a position financially where you can give someone a car, dope. Give them a car because you've got another one. I let people drive one of my vehicles all the time. I have 3 of them. I can't drive all 3 at once. So when somebody's car breaks down that works for me and they need a vehicle, I let them drive my Infiniti. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't. But I wouldn't give it to them.
Right.
And I'm not going to just give it to some person that I met on Plenty of Fish or Tinder or whatever the websites are that people are using. You're out of your mind. Mm-mm. I don't know.
I'm hungry.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You want to stop and then come back and make some Patreon exclusive content?
Yes.
All right. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.